who have been on strike since March 9th, 2020, before the coronavirus pandemic enveloped the country. And even when people in the state universities and private universities were teaching virtually, ASUU members in the federal universities refused to go back to work. This is where we have found ourselves. They have made about 9-point demands. 9. And as I speak to you today, about 6 of those demands have been met fully. I used to call it 8-point demand because that's what is in their letter, their initial letter of ultimatum. According to labor laws, what you call the trade dispute note. Now, federal government had engaged them in March. And when the pandemic came, they were locked down and everything. I invited them for a virtual meeting. They said they couldn't do virtual meeting, that their members were scattered all over the country and that they need to sit together at any time they're discussing. I had to wait. Government had to wait. So we now resumed the renegotiation in October. As a matter of fact, it was the Senate president who, being a former member, or I don't know whether an ASUU member on sabbatical, that initiated the peace process again. And I thank him very much for doing that. And we spoke, to ourselves at that first meeting, very truthfully. We were very open because they had also complained to him that I don't like them. And I said, no, there's nothing about likeness. I'm speaking the truth, and I like always to speak the truth. And so I went there because
Hello and welcome to Youth and Social Life. My name is Damilola Ogunshaki, and today I'm with my co-host
Agnes Joy Luka.
And of course, today we'll be talking about, of course, what is currently going on in ASUU. So this is in continuation of what we discussed last time. And of course, yesterday, ASUU told students and their parents not to expect suspension of ongoing strike by its members soon, advising lecturers to seek alternative means of survival. The union also accused the Minister of Labour and Employment, as Dr. Chris Ngige, of showing what it is described as disdain for Nigerian academics. Now, that word disdain for Nigerian academics is what we really want to focus on. And of course, before we continue, let me quickly define what disdain is according to Oxford Dictionary. And it says the feeling that someone or something is unworthy of one's consideration or respect. So it can be defined as to be considered to be unworthy of one's consideration. So that is the meaning of disdain. Now, talking about ASUU, of course, we have many parents who have been waiting for ASUU strike to be called off. And of course, many students who already had the mind that we're going to resume early next year, or of course late this year, that's next month, December. But it seems now that their hope have actually been shattered by ASUU with the announcements that they made yesterday. But of course, before we continue, I would like to get Joy's opinion on the statement from ASUU. What do you think about it, Joy?
That statement is really, really not encouraging, I would say, because I have a lot of friends who are home, and if you ask them now, they'll say, okay, the year is almost coming to an end, let me just wait till January while I resume, and I'm fully prepared. Then going back, like coming up to tell them now that they shouldn't expect, that means there is no date for them to resume yet, and it's very, very discouraging. Seriously, it's not encouraging at all. That's coming from the ASUU is not encouraged.
Okay, so talking about this day, like not considering, not having enough consideration or respect for the students, for Nigerian academics. Now we have been talking many years. We've been saying many times now that okay, we are looking for a time where international students can come into Nigeria to study. You know, like it was then in the 90s and all that, where you easily find Nigerian students in Unilag and some other foreign students in Unilag and from other universities. But now it seems Nigerian students are traveling out, to school to study. Now they've been questioning these, asking this question. But since what ASUU actually said yesterday now is actually giving people the answers that this is the reason why we can't continue to study in Nigeria. I mean, they've been on strike since February. Yeah, they've been on strike since February, and this is November, and we're still saying that they should not call it off yet, but they need to, until our needs are met, our wants are met, we can't continue with whatever. And advising the lecturers to go and get a side job. It's like disrespecting the lecturers and also disrespecting the students that are studying. But also, of course, we can't put all the blame on us. So we also have to talk about the federal government and what they are requesting for. And this is not the first time. This is not the genesis of this stuff they are discussing about. It started since 2009, although 2009 was not the first time that they called strike. And when you're talking about the strike history in Nigeria, of course it first started in the strike history in Nigeria first started in 1999 when we're talking about ASUU strike and other was. But before we actually go more into the strike history, let's just talk about the federal government's willingness to actually fulfill what the demands of ASUU. What do you actually have to say about that stuff?
Education generally is the bedrock of development in every country, in every nation. But the way our federal government are taking this thing, they are not really encouraging the youth to study. Because I was going through the comments of some people on Twitter, and somebody was saying, I've been in school, I was in 300 level since 2019, and is it that I will still be in 300 level till 2022? Because now a lot of people already, they are having it in their mind like removing 2021, because this one that we don't even have any set date, which means the federal government, they are not really looking into our educational sector. They are not really taking part, because they believe that their children don't school in Nigeria. Most of them, they fly their children abroad to study, so they don't really look into our educational system here in Nigeria. If they had been doing so, they would not come up with such an idea, and they will not agree with ASUU on such an issue.
Okay, so which means that they will try to find solution to it. But I think if they wanted to actually bring up a solution, it would have, of course, this thing would have been solved since 2009. That they made the promise that they were going to, actually, fulfill their demands. And right now, we're still discussing the same thing, and likely we're going to continue next year. And we don't know how far it's going to move to 2022. Now we have many Nigerian students at home looking for business to do, and also when you're talking about insecurity, many people are blaming it now on the youths that are at home not going to school, that they are the ones that are actually increasing the level of insecurity outside. Of course, you are hearing many things happening. Talk about the polio fight that just recently happened, and also what happened in Kaduna and Edo states in terms of insecurity, and also some major parts in Lagos where you just see people's windscreen being broken, and them robbing them in broad daylight and all that. So they are blaming those on youths who are not in school, who are not in school learning. And also these ASUU strike has also affected the youth's dream, whatever they want to do. And of course, like you said, people in 300 level as of last year, they are still going to be in 300 level as of 2021. And also, of course, we don't know if that's we also extend to 2022, because there's no particular date of resumption right now. And also, ASUU telling teachers to look for something else to do is actually saying that we are not ready.
It's like a wrap up for the educational system
in Nigeria. That is it. So of course, we have some schools, some students that are in school, and they're all fortunate, not actually to be on the ASUU. Like, of course, we have Osun State University. They're still there. Students are there in school and all that. But now it's affecting them. But let's first look at the history of ASUU strike since 1999. So of course, after the end of the military era in 1999, Nigerians ushered in democracy and a government that promised to be the people's oriented. But of course, it didn't take long for Nigerian students to experience a disruption in their academic pursuits. So a few months after the Obasanjo and Atiku administration was sworn in, ASUU embarked on a nationwide strike, which lasted for 5 months. Also in 2001, ASUU declared another strike over the restatement of 49 lecturers sacked at the University of Ilorin, and of course that's also lasted for 3 months. You also in 2002, another strike also commenced on Sunday, December 29, 2022. 2002 rather, and it lasted for 2 weeks. In 2003 also there was another strike, and that lasted for 6 months. In 2005 another one lasted for 2 weeks, where it was called for of course as university went on another industrial action. Also in 2006 a 3-day warning strike was actually declared, and it lasted for 1 week. In 2007 also another strike which also lasted for 3 months was also declared, and in 2008 there was another strike also for 1 week. And 2009, the main year that this whole stuff that is still being argued right now actually was concluded. The strike started in June and was called off in October. And of course, the federal government and the union had an agreement, and so the 2009 ASUU and federal government agreement is actually what is causing, of course, the industrial action up till now. And in 2010 also they went on another strike from 22nd of July 2010 to 2011. 2011 also there was another strike. 2013 also there was another strike. Same with 2017 and 2018. But it seems like this is the longest that we also actually have strike now currently going on. And right now this is like the 9th month or so, or the 10th month, and we're still talking about it still extending. And now this discussion, this federal government and ASUU stuff that is going on, they agreed. There was an agreement in 2009, but ASUU, the federal government failed, to follow up with this demand, with this agreement, and that's why they've been going on strike. And this time around, it's like they refused. ASUU finally said, no, we can't continue, and that's why they strike. But it's affecting the Nigerian academics. It's affecting Nigerian education. Now, many students, when they come out from secondary school, of course, we've had some people who just wrote their WAEC and got their WAEC results, and currently they are doing NECO now. And of course, they're expecting themselves to be writing their
to enroll for JAM.
Of course, they've actually enrolled for JAM. Many of them have seen their scores, and we're talking about them enrolling for post JAM. And right now, they don't know their fates when they will enter university. I don't know if you have other friends that also, just they're still open to enter university. What are some of the experiences that you've told you?
Yeah, I would say there are even some people still home that wrote JAM, that they were given admission, they've not resumed. Now coming to this set that another people are about to take JAM, like they've taken, and some of them will be given admission. Me, I don't know the way the federal government are really working or reacting towards this educational or towards this academic failure. To me, it's a failure, because we are saying youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but we are not really encouraging them to come up or to work of being the leaders of tomorrow, when by the end of the day a course you are supposed to study for 4 years, 5 years, you end up studying the course for like 8 years, 7 years. Everybody works. We have plans, like you have, okay, in the next 4 years I should be out of school, in a year I should be done with my NYSC service, and these are what I want to achieve. Then you end up seeing yourself as if you are going backward, because for those in school now, they are not even having any hope. For now, let me use that word, they are not having any hope. I was listening to some persons and they were like, oh, we are tired. Some will say I've even finished learning my handwork, because I was not supposed to do something like that. I've already had an experience before. And during this strike I said, okay, let me enroll for something, and I'm done with it. And now they are still coming up with something like this. Is really not encouraging.
Now what you're saying, that just reminded me of course, a young boy that of course I know, and he wrote post-jam for UNILAG like 3 times for 3 years, and the course he wanted, they didn't actually give him. He got admission in other universities. He said, no, this is the university I want to go to, and this is the course I want to study. They was giving my course. So finally, he was given admission last year. So it's supposed to be, going his first year right now. This year, ending it, second year. Now this boy sat at home for 3 years, and right now his education also seems to have been delayed for another year now. So now these students, are you saying that this action is like saying they are discouraging these students from studying? Many of them have started their handwork. Now, the question out there now is, when school resumes, how many of them will be ready to go back?
That's the thing.
To school? People came out with the intention that after my university, of course, I'm going to work in the office or that, but now they are forced to start the side job. And when they say that, okay, it's paying, I don't think I want to go to university again. Or, okay, people have actually joined the wrong association, and they just feel like, okay, I'm discouraged now. There's no reason for me to go to school. Now, what are we going to say now? People are, there's actually, there's actually something I saw outside there, and we saw a poll of Yahoo boys now, how they've increased over the years. And right now they're saying that this period of COVID-19 and SARS and this ASUU strike, it has really increased the number of youths, young children who are actually engaged in this practice of course these fraudulent activities. And now it begins with when you link this thing, you have to link it back to ASUU strike. When they're supposed to be in school, what are they doing? They were at home, so they had to look for something else to do. But anyway, before we continue, let's take some comments on, of course, on Facebook. And we have Craig says is saying that Nigeria need to adopt some of the same American laws that works for all Americans. Also, he's saying that he's watching from America. And Peter Tema is saying, is this the solution? Jaffet is saying, and if nothing is done swiftly, the next phase of any kind of protest will be worse. Because most of the protesters in the last hashtag EndSARS now were mostly students. Friday also says, ASUU is making it difficult for federal government on purpose to make them look bad. Really? Why not wait till 2023 election when you have your chance? I think, talking about what he's saying, he's saying that they are purposely making it for federal government to look bad. Now, if federal government, if they're actually doing it on purpose to make the federal government look bad, I think federal government can actually defend themselves.
They can come out and defend themselves that no. So there is not, to me, there is nothing like making anybody look bad here. It's what is happening. Let's call a spade a spade. That is what is happening. There is nothing like making or painting the federal government to make them look bad. Permit me to say this, I think this strike contributed to the EndSARS protest, because if students were in school, I know they will not really come out in that mass to protest. There might be protests, but not really the number of youth we saw on the street, because a lot of people might be busy that time studying for their exams, so they might not really, they will just engage, they might engage online, but not be really coming out on the street, in person to protest. So you can see what this strike has really caused. And also those hoodlums and others, sorry to say, some of those hoodlums some of those people we call hoodlums, they are actually students. It's just because they've been at home. When there's a saying that goes that an idle man is a devil's workshop. When you are idle, you don't have anything doing. There are a lot of things that will be running through your mind. You get it. And so you won't have any choice. Anything that you don't have, that will come, you just take it. So the strike has really done a lot of damage, and now the worst part of it is that we don't even know when it's going to come to an end.
That is it. That's it. But according to what this friend is saying, also, let me refer him back to when the strike started. These old things started with federal government. Started in 2009. I'm sure if these demands have been met, they won't continue till now.
Yes, they
won't. And we won't be having strike almost every year in universities. Then I remember when I was in secondary school, there was one of my uncle then. It was in university, I think UNAT then, and I just noticed that every year I'm still in university. I know you can still university 5 years. I mean, please, how many years does it take for someone to graduate? And at the end of the day, he graduated when I was in year 1, and he started school when I was in I knew him when I was in JSS. When I saw him when I was in JSS 1, he's my
Imagine-
uncle.
imagine.
First time I saw him I was in JSS 1, and it was in university already. So I was in my year 1 when
That's
he
when he
graduated
graduated.
from university. And this was, what contributed mostly to it is because of this ASUU strike almost all the time.
That's it.
So when you look at it like this, you start to wonder that what is currently going on. So continuing on some of the comments, of course, we have Greg is saying that if Nigeria adopted some of the American laws on police form, there would not be any police brutality in Nigeria. Also, Issa Abubakar says both the past and the present administration fails youth and Nigeria at large. Aliu says ASUU and federal government no good. Also, Issa Abubakar says we are tired of lies from Honorable Minister of Labour. Of course, Ejiofor says the federal government is the problem because, and there are some languages that I really can't understand. And then another says that Nigerians need to adopt some of the American law enforcement that lead to the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and the Nigerian dream. Nigerian youths are smarter than elders, and also there are so many comments there, but you can keep it coming. Also, Adam says no need for universities now for me, I'm already married. So it's like this is the conclusion. I'm not going to university again. I'm married. What am I going there to look for now?
That's it. Because when somebody, okay, imagine now a lady, for instance, is like 26 and she's like, okay, before 30 years I should be done with school, then I will look further to what I'm going to do. Then you're expecting that person to be spending like 7 years in school for a 4-year course. Imagine, it's very discouraging. So that person that said he or she's married, I really congratulate you, because I won't say you did bad, and yeah, you did good. To me, it's not really bad, because getting married is not a bad thing, because you don't know how long this strike is going to take, and it's not as if everything is really working good now. So it's better you go with what you know is good for you for now, because you don't have we can't really place that, okay, by this time next year the strike will be called off.
Yeah.
By this time next month it will be called off, because the way they are even encouraging teachers to look for other jobs, that's to say they are wrapping up the educational system
in Nigeria. It's like,
so that's it's really it's really not encouraging.
I think for them to encourage Nigerian students now, it's just to come up with a date.
Yeah.
And the federal government too. One of them, you can't have two stubborn people going together.
Yeah.
One of them actually one of them actually have to come to the conclusion, and they have to agree with their terms. And I think the federal government really have a lot to do when it comes to ASUU and how to communicate with them. Communication is the key. They need to come together, communicate, come to an agreement, so that these students' life will actually not be at stake. Their good their good intention, their ideas, their passion to go to university will actually not be killed. It will die down, because right now many people are actually losing hope when it comes to going to school, continue their education, and they are looking for something else to do without even thinking adding education to the line again. Because what you hear them say is that if they stop it right now, there's every probability that next year will also go on strike. So the best thing is just to end it now, and let's come up to the conclusion. And also for the parents out there, of course, we have parents also who are waiting for these students to go, because they're tired. When you expect that your child should be in school and you're already calculating that, okay, but so yeah, my child should be my child should be true. So then you just see yourself adding another year to it, adding another year. You don't even know when it's going to end. So we are really pleading with ASUU and federal government to come with come with an agreement, and let's end these all back and forth that is going on between you. And also we plead with Nigerian youth to keep this opportunity they are at home, use it, like you said, use it to learn the trade, and also don't forget, continue studying. Don't let us use all the old knowledge that we have to eat a bar and just forget it at home. Don't just forget it and just say, okay, education is off. The chapter is still open, but for now it's just suspended. That is the main thing. So I hope that's a wrap up for us. Do you have any other thing to say to
like Dami said, it's just for us to continue studying. You know, you never can tell. They just said it can still be that tomorrow they can still come up and said, okay, the strike has ended, everybody go back to school. So as you're at home now, just pick up your books, make sure you always study, so that when you go back to school you won't be left with nothing. Like, you will not just come and be feeling like, God, it's been long, how will I cope? But once you are always studying at home, you know, you are used to the system already. You will not get back when you go to school. And also, for some of us that are into trade, please continue doing it, and do it with the whole of your heart, because you don't know the one that will favor you. So that's my own advice.
And that's all we have for you on Youth and Social Life today. But after this program, of course, we have the canal coming up soon, and of course we have an interesting topic that will be discussed there. So of course, don't go anywhere. You can always put the notification on for yourselves, because it's a topic that you always of course you want to have an interest to and also contribute to it. But for now on Youth and Social Life, it's bye from me, Damlola Ogunshaki, and also from our co-host
Agnes Jaroloko.
So enjoy yourself. I'll be expecting you soon.
We have been on strike since March 9th, 2020, before the coronavirus pandemic enveloped the country. And even when people in the state universities and private universities were teaching virtually, ASUU members in the federal universities refused to go back to work. This is where we have found ourselves. They have made about 9-point demands. 9. And as I speak to you today, about 6 of those demands have been met fully. I used to call it 8-point demand because that's what is in their letter, their initial letter of ultimatum. According to labor laws, what you call the trade dispute note. Now, federal government had engaged them in March. And when the pandemic came, they were locked down and everything. I invited them for a virtual meeting. They said they couldn't do virtual meeting, that their members were scattered all over the country and that they need to sit together at any time they're discussing. I had to wait. Government had to wait. So we now resumed the renegotiation in October. As a matter of fact, it was the Senate president who, being a former member, I don't know whether an ASUU member on sabbatical, that initiated the peace process again. And I thank him very much for doing that. And we spoke, to ourselves at that first meeting, very truthfully. We were very open because they had also complained to him that I don't like them. And I said, no, there's nothing about likeness. I'm speaking the truth. And I like always to speak the truth. And so I went there because I'm the conciliator. And in conciliation with the ILO, you are allowed to do what is called bipartite plus negotiation. So the National Assembly is another arm of government. I'm not supposed ordinarily to go there or discuss labor conciliations there, but we have to do a plus. And we had some agreement. First, we agreed that the allowances they were asking for, and academic allowances, and the revitalization fund, and the issue of the payment model to be adopted are the critical issues to the discussion. So we arrived at UTAS, which is University Transparency Accountability Solution, should be given a trial. We had, as a government, agreed on this even before Mr. President. We want homegrown things, local content. Executive Order 3 and Executive Order 5 are in that direction. So, we agreed with Mr. Senate President and the Accountant General, who was at the meeting, that we go and test UTAS as a payment model. Accountant General of the Federation and Minister of Finance, how much do you have to pay? They have said that the revitalization fund for the universities, we have not been up to date in what we agreed to pay. But now that we are ending COVID, even as we know that the economy is in doldrums, and how much can you afford to pay? Outstanding money was calculated because we had what we call a memorandum of action entered into in 2019. So what was outstanding to them was the November 2019 payment and August 2020. 20 billion naira each for the university system.